My name is Gary Peterson. I am an abstract painter. Normally I work in the studio on canvases and works on paper. And this show called Woolworks, Stephen Main, the curator, gathered together 7 different artists, some who work on a wall normally, some who have never done that, which is me. And Stephen invited us to take a wall and do what we want with it. With that, we do have some time constraints of about 3 days, so the project has to fit in that time. So therefore, I scaled my work, hopefully to fit within that 3-day period. Like I said, I'm an abstract painter who uses geometry right now. I use geometry, though, in, I think, a more humorous way. I bring play and certain subtleties into the work. With this piece, I have a very long horizontal wall. Most of my work is vertical when I work in the studio, and this is kind of interesting because I'm stretching it out and pulling it out. And I think that brings a different sense of disorientation and kind of humor into the work. So it's about a third of the way through. On Sunday I prepped and primed the wall white, and now using various acrylic paints and mediums, I'm going in and taping out and painting those lines. But I do have 2 sort of sketches I'm working off of, but I do work intuitively. That's how I work in my studio. So I'm making decisions on site about color and placement. There's a little more layering in my work because I can do that on canvas and have dry times. Okay. So, but I usually work with artist tape. Sometimes my paintings are about mid-size, 56 by 40, but usually I don't do extremely large canvases.
So my name is Steele Stillman, and I'm an artist. I've been working for about 25 years, and this is a wall painting that I'm doing here, which is called an oculus, and it's part of a series of oculuses or oculi wall paintings and paintings that I've been doing over the last 10 years or something like that. And it's a shape that I return to in different sizes in different locations because it has a kind of it's a kind of constant where I can then change the color as though I were changing the light. The shape is derived from a photograph of a skylight which has an oculus, a kind of an opening in the window over a staircase in a house in New England. And the idea is really that this shape should represent a kind of space that is returned to in different times of day, different times of the year, or and different lights. It's really kind of functions when I use it as a wall painting, as a kind of portal, a kind of mapping of one space from somewhere else onto the space where it's exhibited. It, like all of my work, really has to do with or comes from photography. My work really is sort of grounded in snapshots and kind of domestic photographs of my own and others that I've collected over the course of about 30 years. And from this work I do drawings and paintings but they all abstract out of something concrete or real. And so hence this comes really from architecture, of course. It's kind of handmade. Gives it a kind of handmade feeling that I think works well against the architectural source. This is what it's going to look like. It's really, when I was referring earlier to the oculus was really just one oval with, or maybe there were two of them, and these notches are actually bits of molding or columns that you would see as you kind of looked up in perspective.
Hello, I'm Danielle Tegeter, and I'm an artist based in New York, mostly usually paintings and drawings, and I do a lot of wall installations. So for the Wallworks exhibition here at the Painting Center, I'm going to be working on panels and glassine. So I'll be adhering panels and glassine onto the wall. So, and as you can see, the wall behind me has been painted gray, so it is almost like a prepared canvas. And I'll be pinning things up, and I like to work in the borders of where paintings and drawings kind of in a way dissolve or transform into something else, and to push painting as far as I can in a very transgressive way, but still hold canvases. Another thing that I really like to do with working with installations is to really interact with the architecture. Because that's something that my work is very much about, whether it's architectural planning or contemporary architecture. So it's very interesting to kind of come into a space and to really look at how high the ceilings are and how wide the wall is, and really work within those constraints. So I have a basic premise, a few major canvases that will be hung that have been started, and then I continue on the process and work intuitively into that, and with a number of different materials, and I'll even be using a sheet of glass to kind of sit in front of the pieces that end up layering the pieces in much the way a drawing and painting does. Some of the materials that I'm going to be using, and there's mirror, there's raw canvas, a number of panels. This is vinyl that's been stretched, and I'll use it very much like a shape you would on a large canvas. There's also a number of small collages that I'm going to incorporate through the piece. So the pieces will be stacked onto one another, and they'll be layered in a number of ways. I also have a roll of glassine, and the glassine is translucent, so I'm able to kind of hang that and really make a transition from the wall into the canvases and into the panels, in a sense. And as you can see, there's other paintings that have been started, for this work. So there's raw linen. This is a graphite that's on a panel. So I'm also just very interested in the materiality of painting. And even when I make paintings on a traditional canvas, I really push that with using drawing materials and many other materials that I incorporate, but still use sort of the language of abstraction.